Tonight, into the gunfire. Harrowing new video from the first moments of chaos and carnage. Officers running toward the danger. And tonight, some of the most powerful stories of heroism we've heard. A father and son who both took bullets while working frantically to save others.
He kept telling me that he loved everybody and wanted everybody to know that he loved everybody.
Plus, new details on the investigation. The gunman's girlfriend back in the U.S. now being questioned by the FBI. Also, fallout from the NBC News exclusive that has rocketed across Washington, Rex Tillerson's boiling point. Sources say the Secretary of State was on the verge of resigning. So frustrated, he even referred to President Trump as a moron. And a new tropical threat, a potential hurricane taking aim at the Gulf. Nightly News begins right now.
Las Vegas mass shooting. This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, reporting tonight from Las Vegas.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being with us on this Wednesday evening. Behind me, those blown-out windows high up in the Mandalay Bay Hotel are hard to miss on this end of the Vegas Strip. A thankfully temporary reminder of the 11 minutes of cold-blooded violence here just 3 nights ago. And tonight, a new piece of video taken just below the hotel as the gunfire erupted. It was captured by a cab driver in the taxi queue at the Mandalay Bay as the shots rang out, capturing an eerie calm among confused hotel guests and then the panic of fleeing concert-goers. 11 minutes in which lives were abruptly ended or forever altered.
Yeah, you got people climbing.
I said, let's get down. And he said, no, we'll get trampled, let's go. And he wrapped his arms around my back. And as we started to run, I felt him get shot in the back. And we fell to the ground.
And tonight, as the President and First Lady visited with survivors and first responders here, we're getting a terrifying new glimpse of that night through the eyes of police responding to the shots. There were moments of terror and some of remarkable bravery. Our national correspondent Miguel Almaguer begins our coverage tonight.
Go that way! Get out of here! There's gunshots coming from over there! Go that way!
Police say they ran into 11 minutes of hell. The Las Vegas Police Department releasing a sampling of body cam footage, capturing the intense horror, volley after volley of relentless gunfire.
Get down, get down, get down!
Bullets tearing through the air, muffled only by screams.
They knew what they were doing, but it's also not just a fly by the seat of your pants type of risk. It's a calculated risk.
With officers sweeping onto the killing field, this camera, buried under a vest, shows one officer using his body to shield the victim lying on the ground. Alongside police, paramedics, knowing they too could be killed.
It's very intense.
Jeff Buchanan's team scrambled to put on Kevlar.
They're focused on the patients, and they're also focused on making sure that they save as many people as possible.
Tonight, new video captured by a cab driver. In the chaos, police would eventually spot the shooter.
See muzzle flash from the Mandalay Bay! North of the Mandalay Bay is coming out of a window.
Fear and panic were everywhere. Victims piling into this taxi.
Sorry, there's thousands of people dead. Please just go.
Okay, I'm going.
Everybody's dead. Come on.
Among those pulled to safety, 24-year-old Kristen Babbitt.
Out of everyone who was running away and screaming, there were a lot of people going toward it to help.
Tonight, Babbitt is recovering. She's still wearing her concert wristband.
I'm fortunate I didn't pass away, but I'm also unfortunate that I'm now stuck with this bullet wound in my back for the rest of my life.
Go, 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 go.
An urban battlefield no one will ever forget.
During the gunfire from this hotel room, police say many of their officers were wearing body cameras, adding much of the video is still being reviewed. Some is too graphic to show. It is a real-life account of the terror that rained down on so many. Lester?
So terrifying just to watch it. I can't imagine living through it. Miguel Almaguer, thank you. Tonight, the woman who lived with the Las Vegas attacker is back in the U.S., arriving in Los Angeles, where she spent most of the day answering questions from the FBI and Las Vegas authorities. Investigators are hoping she can provide some answers that have so far been elusive. We get all the latest now from our justice correspondent, Pete Williams.
Under police escort, Mary Lou Danley arrived late last night in Los Angeles from a family visit in the Philippines and was questioned for hours today at the FBI's LA office. Investigators want to know if she had any hint that Stephen Paddock was planning a violent attack or if she knew of any reason why he would commit such a horrible crime. So far, they say, no obvious answers. Late today, her lawyer read a statement from her.
He never said anything to me or took any action that I was aware of, that I understood in any way to be a warning that something horrible like this was going to happen.
In Australia, where she's from, her sister said in an interview that Stephen Paddock gave her the airline ticket to get her out of the country so that he could freely carry out his shooting rampage.
She was sent away. She was sent away so that she will be not there to interfere of what he's planning. So, in my heart and in my understanding, he done this solely himself.
In her statement, Danley said she feared the plane ticket and the money he wired to her meant he wanted to break up with her. Federal officials say 12 of the 23 rifles found in Paddock's hotel room were equipped with bump stocks to make them fire like machine guns and clips to hold 60 to 100 rounds of ammunition. As investigators build a timeline of what led up to the attack, they're trying to track down a woman who was seen with Paddock in the days before the shooting. They don't know what connection, if any, she had to the attack, but they want to know who she was so they can talk to her. They're also scouring Paddock's health records. He took Valium, but federal officials say tonight they found no serious mental health problems. So far, the FBI says no idea of what drove him to commit mass murder.
We look for actual indicators of affiliation, of motive, of intent, and so far we're not there. We don't have those sort of indicators.
A senior law enforcement official says tonight that Mary Lou Danley's been cooperative and that there's no sign that she had anything to do with Stephen Paddock's mass shooting. Lester?
All right, Pete Williams tonight, thank you. And as the investigation moves forward, we are hearing more dramatic accounts of the struggle to get out alive once the chaos and confusion began. Strangers helping strangers under that hail of gunfire. At one hospital, we were there for an emotional reunion between a survivor and the Good Samaritan who saved her life. Here's NBC's Katie Beck.
As bullets started raining down Sunday, thousands began their desperate attempts to escape. But Karen Smurber couldn't. Shot in the stomach, she was doubled over in pain. Instead of running, she called her husband.
I was gonna die, but this is it. Had to say goodbye.
But the call home was interrupted by a Good Samaritan. The man with a motive to kill still firing from his 32nd floor sniper's nest. Now another man with a mission to save. Carried the mother of 4 away from harm.
Yep, my guardian angel showed up. His name's Sean, and he picked me up. Picked me up and carried me out of there.
Sean Topper flagging down a car, riding with her to the hospital. Incredibly, the bullet had passed through her without hitting any vital organs.
When you think about the fact, Karen, that you were in this situation, you were probably bleeding significantly.
I was bleeding to death. If he didn't get me here, I would have died.
Today, we were there when Sean stopped by. On his 24th birthday, he's at the bedside and says there's no better gift than seeing her recover.
Whether we like it or not, our lives are intertwined forever.
Yeah.
Sean won't accept a hero title for what he did that night. He saw her and reacted. But Smurber's husband, Matt, says he deserves that and more.
I'm still married today, and I have and my kids have their mom and stepmom, and because of one heroic person.
Now making a strong recovery, the moments of terror haunt Smurber's dreams. But when she awakes, she holds on to another memory, the moment a stranger picked her up and saved her life. Katie Beck, NBC News, Las Vegas.
President Trump and the First Lady, as we said earlier, made their way here to Las Vegas today, meeting with victims and their families, thanking first responders and medical staff for their heroic efforts, and delivering a message from the nation to this heartbroken city.
We know that your sorrow feels endless. We stand together to help you carry your pain. You're not alone. We will never leave your side.
President Trump today here in Las Vegas. Much more from Las Vegas as we continue in a moment. But back in Washington, President Trump is returning to new fallout from our NBC News exclusive report revealing high tensions between him and his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. Tonight, Tillerson is firing back after multiple official sources told NBC News he came to the brink of resigning over the summer. And the secretary responding to another explosive detail in our reporting that he insulted the president in front of other officials. Let's get more from NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Tonight, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson coming out to respond to an NBC News report about friction with the president and that he was on the verge of resigning this summer.
There were some news reports this morning that I want to address.
But stopping short of a full denial.
There's never been a consideration in my mind to leave.
But senior administration officials confirmed to NBC News Tillerson threatened to resign in July. The boiling point, the president's highly political speech to the Boy Scouts, a group Tillerson once led.
We won Florida, we won South Carolina, we won North Carolina, we won Pennsylvania.
Just days earlier, Tillerson even called the president a moron after a Pentagon meeting, according to 3 senior officials. Tillerson today not denying that.
I'm not going to deal with petty stuff like that.
The president in Las Vegas today labeling the NBC report fake news.
It was a totally phony story. Thank you very much. It was made up. It was made up by NBC. Total confidence in Rex. I have total confidence.
But multiple sources tell NBC Tillerson did disparage the president and also talked about quitting, reports NBC's Carol Lee.
Kelly and Mattis moved in to try to convince him to stick around, and then Vice President Pence followed up with what one source described to us as a pep talk.
In fact, Tillerson and the president have clashed for months over Iran, over a dispute between U.S. allies in the Persian Gulf and North Korea. Coming to a head this weekend when the president attacked Tillerson's outreach to North Korea, tweeting Sunday, "Save your energy, Rex. We'll do what has to be done." The president's diplomatic bombshell coming just hours after Tillerson returned from China, where he told reporters the U.S. has a back channel to talk with North Korea, leading to a chorus of headlines that Tillerson should quit.
I think Secretary Tillerson does really have to ask himself the question whether he should be staying in this position.
And the vice president saying that he never discussed resigning with Tillerson. Senate Foreign Relations Chairman Corker saying Tillerson, Kelly, and Mattis are, quote, helping separate our country from chaos. Lester?
Andrea Mitchell, thank you. As the White House deals with that fallout in Congress, there are growing calls for a ban on bump stocks, the devices the Las Vegas gunman used to turn his semi-automatic weapons essentially into automatic machine guns. And as our chief White House correspondent Hallie Jackson reports, some prominent Republicans tonight are signaling that they are open to a ban.
President Trump today argues now's not the time to talk gun control.
Well, we're not going to talk about that today. We won't talk about that.
The president visiting Vegas, where some 22,000 people experienced the deadliest shooting in modern U.S. history. Dianne Feinstein's daughter was almost one of them.
They were going to stay at that hotel. That's how close it came to me.
In Washington, the senator, whose daughter never ended up at the country concert, is introducing a new ban on bump stocks. The Nevada shooter had 12 of the devices, which legally allow a semi-automatic gun to shoot faster, like an automatic. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal co-sponsors the bill.
Have you had discussions on the other side of the aisle?
There is receptiveness that I think is very, very significant.
At least 2 Republicans say they would back a bump stock ban. One Texas lawmaker, a gun owner, says there's no reason for the devices, which Senator Bill Cassidy wasn't familiar with until now.
Who wants to see another Las Vegas? On the other hand, there's not going to be a single law that would stop somebody determined to do something bad.
GOP leaders say they want to learn more, but no hearing's been scheduled yet. For Democrats, an uphill battle. For some Republicans, a slippery slope.
It's not just about bump stocks. It's about ultimately getting rid of the Second Amendment.
That's echoed at the Clark County shooting complex, a half hour from the Vegas Strip.
There should not be any restrictions whatsoever